Hello, magic casters of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my Spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 31st episode of our first level spell series. Today we are going to be taking a look at one of the best ranger spells, hands down. May I introduce to you with great honor and esteem, Ensnaring Strike. As aforementioned, usable exclusively by the Ranger class, and it is found in the Player's Handbook. With all that hype out of the way, let's take a look at the mechanics so we can better understand the way the spell works. Your cast time will be one bonus action, so really good stuff there. The range is self. The duration is a whole minute, and it is concentration based. And the effect at a glance is as followed. After hitting a creature with a weapon attack, vines surround the target. The target makes a strength save versus your spellcasting DC. On a fail, they become restrained. Large creatures have advantage on the save. On a success, the vines shrivel away. The target takes 1d6 piercing damage at the start of its turn. The target or another creature can use their action to remove the vines with another strength save. At higher levels, you add 1d6 per spell slot level above first. The components are just verbal, and the school, unsurprisingly, is Conjuration. Perfect. That being said, let's look at the full description here. The next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before this spell ends, a writhing mass of thorny vines appears at the point of impact, and the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by the magical vines until the spell ends. A large or larger creature has advantage on its saving throw. If the target succeeds on the save, the vines shrivel away. While restrained by this spell, the target takes 1d6 piercing damage at the start of each of its turns. A creature restrained by the vines or one that can touch the creature can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. On a success, the target is freed. At higher levels, if you cast a spell using a spell slot of second level or higher, the damage increases by 1d6 for each slot level above first. Wowzers! A ton of stuff to unpack there, as a matter of fact. First and foremost, it might be worth noting from a thematic standpoint that the vines shoot forth from where the target is hit. Not from the ground, and this is important for a little bit later on, but I think it makes really cool sense thematically. You gash open, or you swing open, or you swing at an opponent, and it opens a wound, and from that wound, some vines shoot out and wrap around them. I just love the visual behind it. It is super cool stuff. The larger creatures having disadvantage makes sense, honestly. It's great you can affect them, though. You can get pretty creative with this, as I'm sure you might imagine, and I'll get into that a little bit later too. So, the restrained condition is kind of broken down where the target that's restrained has 0 speed, any attacks against them have advantage, their attacks have disadvantage, and they also have disadvantage on dex saves, which is pretty standard, makes sense. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the alternative uses here. So, as it doesn't imply it has to be a melee attack, you can actually use this with ranged weapons as well, and I really think that's where this shines, in all honesty. That being said, you can also use it to prevent an opponent from running away or from a chase scene from starting. Alternatively, because the vines shoot out from the point of contact and not from the ground, you can essentially use this to drop flying targets relatively easily. And something that I realized during the production of this video was that size requirement doesn't have a cap on it. Now what that means to you individuals out there who are familiar with the Sentinel feat combo and the ways to use that properly, it essentially lets you drop dragons. I think that's very cool. They still take the falling damage, but it makes it very clear that the restrained condition has a speed of 0, and that includes fly speed. So I think that's particularly interesting. You could also use this on absurdly large enemies, such as the Tarrasque, which I think would be absolutely hilarious, you know? I mean, that being said, Tarrasques have a massive strength modifier, but if you have the lucky feat, you know, you might just be able to catch yourself a Tarrasque. I love that. Great visual. That being said, if you have any alternative uses for Ensnaring Strike or any crazy build concepts or stories revolving around the spell, I'd really like to hear it down in the comments beneath. As always, you guys are an absolute joy to listen to and hear from, and I really hope this community continues to grow. That being said, I hope everyone has a great day, and as always, happy spellcasting.